Hello and welcome back. This is Sherry with Heart and Soulful, and I'm back in the studio. So for those of you who have been following me along and noticed I have been missing in action, thanks for sticking by me. I am back and hopefully we'll get back on track. So I won't go into great detail. I'm fine. I know my voice sounds weird today. It's because there's so much smoke outside. I actually have a glass of water standing by just in case I need it, but it's feeling like it's in the house. I've never seen it this bad. We are just surrounded by fires. So if you have been concerned, thank you. I know a few of you have reached out. I have some Facebook followers. I hadn't even posted on Facebook in a couple of months. So I'll kind of explain a little bit without getting into too great a detail at the end of the video if anyone cares. So if you are just catching me for the first time, welcome. This is going to be a very short video. I need to catch up on where I was or where I left off in this series. So thank you for joining me if it is the first time. I'm going to put a link to this entire series in the description so that if you want to watch it from the beginning, it'll all make more sense. So I have been working on a vintage grunge junk journal, and this was my first attempt at doing a hard cover from scratch, just from some recycled materials, and then putting signatures in. And this project's been going on for quite a while now. It's based on a ghost town called Bodie, and I've done 3 signatures, but I had plans for more. And now that I've been away from it for a couple of months, I think what I'm going to do is take Cindy B's advice and do a volume 1 and a volume 2. I've kind of been away from it so that I need to kind of reacquaint myself and kind of get back in the groove, go through my supplies again and see where I left off. I kind of just left the studio in the middle of this. So what I decided to do, and I didn't film me making this cover, but I have a video where I made this cover or something like it. I did a demonstration. That's in part number 2. I'll put the link to the entire series, but then also a separate link just to that video, so that if you want to work on your book cover, then you'll have that video separate. So I'm going to put that aside. I made the cover before I started my journal, and now I think from going forward, I'm new to all this, so I learn as I go. I think it's better to make the inside and then make the cover the correct size. So I went ahead, over the last few days, well, today I finished this. I had started this a month ago, I think. And that'll make more sense at the end of the video again when I explain, but I decided I was going to try to do a video a month ago, and I was sort of in a fog and I just couldn't do it. So I did start the project and then I finished it up today. So it needs to sit under some books again, but I wanted to show it at this point because, as you can see, it looks a little bit different than the other one. So I went through basically the same procedure. I made, I kind of measured my signatures since I had these finished, giving them a little room in the spine because this is a journal, but it hasn't been journaled in, so it may end up growing depending on whether I keep it or sell it. So I wanted to kind of give it a little bit of room. And then in my earlier cover, I didn't mind things hanging out past, everything, but it got so big it was a little bit too much. So I went ahead and I made this new cover a little bit bigger all the way around. And that way, as things get added in, I think you can still, stick things up and out the sides or whatever. So I made it a little bit bigger. Then the other thing that I did differently, let me move that out of my way, is there's 2 things. One is when I did this one, I didn't even know how I was going to maybe attach the signatures. I didn't know if I was going to maybe punch holes all the way through and have them exposed here. I wanted to give myself the option of doing a floating spine. So I've kind of done an experiment on one of my little mini books, which is not here, but I kind of like that idea. And then having the spine, I can put a book plate or something like that there. So I had watched a video from Nick the Booksmith, how you actually are supposed to do that. So I I've done that differently, where I did not put my scrim all the way and cover the inside. The other thing that I did differently is the color you can see of my scrim. On this one, I had just put the scrim down because this was still all pretty white. I just put the scrim down without coloring it at all, and then I just used a little distress, you know, just this distress oxide vintage photo with my little dauber, just to kind of dirty it up. For this one, I didn't watch this video, and it's been a long time since I made this, that I didn't even remember what I had done. So when I was working on this one, I knew I had done the whole coffee staining thing, and so I did that the same. I knew what I had done there. I just didn't remember about the scrim. So for this one, I had went ahead and kind of stained it. I used the Distress Oxide spray, and it was a little bit too much color. So I went ahead and just rinsed it off and then just kind of scrunched it up. And it kind of gave me that same look as when I rusted fabric. So this was much kind of quicker and easier than rusting fabric, but it kind of came out that color. So I went ahead and had done that. And I like it on this one because my cover with all my coffee ended up a little darker anyway. And then I did go around my edges with my vintage photo, again, just using my dauber just to kind of get those edges dirtied up. And I think I had also done that on the first one. So I did that different. And then because I want to do the floating spine, I ended up just cutting a piece of the same cardboard box, a little bit smaller than my spine area here, so that I have had a little room to wrap the scrim around the end to have it look finished. That way when it's kind of floating in here, it has a finished looking edge. And then when I put my signatures in, I'm not going to do that right now. I probably should, but I'm just so out of practice with everything. I'm going to just figure out where they need to go. They'll be sewn into this piece. And then when they all get glued in here, then I have these kind of wings that can get glued down to the inside of my book. And that way I have the thread back here. Even if I don't want to put glue in here, this is glued down. I probably will anyway because I think it's going to be heavy with all the junk in there. But this way I'll be able to glue these down too, and then that will keep my spine in there nice and intact. So that's my plan. I just kind of wanted to show you that I was back, and I'm going to get back to working on this. I have, if you're just catching me for the first time, this is a journal based on a ghost town. I won't go through the whole thing because if you watch it from the beginning, I do flip throughs of the signatures that are finished. So this first one was kind of about the house and who might be living in there. And then the next one was about the church. And these are all, you know, based on local buildings in this ghost town. So that was the church. And then I did one for the school. And then my next ones that I want to do, this will be volume 1. And then my next ones are going to be, I want to do the mercantile, a hotel, the saloon, maybe the mine. It's a mining town. So I'm not really sure, you know, everything laid out. I had done a kind of a list a prompt list at the beginning, which I go over in the first video, and that's in the freebies. I'll put links to all this in the description, but there are items in my Etsy shop for papers that I have made that you can purchase, or there are also a lot of freebies. So some of the photos that I took that I used, I altered them and then I used them in my journal. I've put a lot more in freebies than I have in the Etsy shop. So check that out. That link will be below also. But in that prompt list, I kind of went over what my signatures might be. So I'm going to get this put together, reacquaint myself with what I've done and kind of where I want to head for the next volume. And for that one, my plan would be to make the pages the same size as this one. and another cover. I just don't know how thick it's going to be. I'm trying to control myself and not make each signature so big, but you never know. So anyway, so that's that. If you're interested in why I've been gone, you can hang on here. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. So if you have been following along, we ended up, we live in Nevada now. We've moved here a few years ago and always planned on having a place in our old hometown because my family's there. And so we ended up going down to visit Mother's Day, and there was a house that was going to be going on the market shortly after that, 3 doors down from my parents. So we ended up buying that. Escrow closed in July. I had a lot of other things happen before then that made me, I was gone at the end of June. And then we'd been gone just getting that house together, starting to anyway. So I did come back here for a week. I ended up not doing a video. We had a fire close by, and we were told to prepare. So I had come home for a week for that. And then actually we just got back again. And there was actually last week a fire even closer to us, but they got right on that one. And we weren't too worried about it since I hadn't brought all the stuff I moved out back yet anyway. So it's just been a lot going on, a lot of life. So I'm just going to try to get back into the swing of things again. If you saw my last video that I did post, I did get together a studio at the other house so that I will be able to do videos and projects and things regardless of where I happen to be. So that's my plan. I don't know how smooth it will be. You know, it's all kind of a new thing. So I am going to finish this up though and see where I'm at. So thanks for sticking by me. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. And click on the little bell so that you'll get notifications when I do post a video. Like I said, the last one was of my studio, so it's just a little tour. There's not much there yet, but I did a post of my first art project. While I was off, because I wasn't able to really be creative, I didn't have really a good setup to do that, and we were busy working on the house. So I watched some videos, which got me motivated to work on some new things that I've been wanting to do forever. So that was what my last post was, if you saw that. So thanks again for sticking by me. I hope to have another video for you soon. So have a great rest of your day. Now go make something. Bye.